I couldn't imagine that I could do something from home while taking care of my child and also be valuable to people, having my own income.
Halo semuanya, kenalin, ini Tanya Gromenko, founder dan mentor di balik SGBVA, online training program yang udah membantu lebih dari 13.000 alumni menjadi virtual assistants.
Life is unpredictable. You are an international relations student, I was an international relations student.
Even graduates from very prestigious universities sometimes find it very hard to find a job.
Di SGBVA, kamu bakal belajar marketing, desain, dan semua skill yang dibutuhin untuk bisa bersaing di dunia kerja. Course ini cocok untuk kamu yang mau full-time, freelance, ibu rumah tangga, ataupun side hustle.
Everyone want a big change, but don't appreciate a tiny little change we made every single day.
Yes, I have another student and she always was dreaming to go to Mecca.
Wow.
Yes, so she saved some money from the VA work and then she finally bought her ticket.
Halo semuanya, kembali lagi di podcast Suara Berkelas. Hari ini spesial, kita kedatangan tamu, Tanya Gromenko, founder of SGBVA. Welcome to the show.
Jangan lupa klik closed caption untuk aktifin subtitle berbahasa Indonesia.
Hi Bilal, thank you very much.
It's going to be a great conversation because my first time speaking English in the podcast of Suara Berkelas. I'm curious about your background. What is your educational background and how did those experiences make you pursue your entrepreneurial dreams?
Yeah, so actually I'm originally from Russia. I'm coming from a very small city in Russia, and I mean, my educational background is, I basically graduated from the university with a major of international relations, like you, right?
International relation.
Hubungan internasional.
Yeah.
And actually this pretty much really changed my life because I was studying Bahasa Indonesia, and because I got a scholarship to study in this university, I couldn't choose the language that I would study. So they actually gave me Bahasa Indonesia. They told me, you will study this language, and I had no idea at that time about Indonesia, where it is. I only heard about Bali once or twice, but I was at the same time very happy that I'm giving this chance to learn something that's very exotic for Russian people. I think up until now there are only like 100 or 200 people in whole Russia who can speak Bahasa Indonesia. So I was feeling really lucky with that opportunity. And this really changed my life because it really exposed me to the new culture, new experiences. And I remember I actually recorded an IG live on my Instagram yesterday because a lot of people are wondering, Tanya, why, so you teach about remote work, but why Indonesia? How do you ever like get connected to Indonesia, you know? So Indonesia, it really always felt like home for me because from the very first year when I started to learn Bahasa Indonesia, I remember I came to the Indonesian embassy in Russia, and I remember the ambassador told us, like, feel at home here, you know, this is your home, come to celebrate any holidays with us and feel at home. And for me, it really meant a lot because I was feeling lonely. It was my first year in Moscow, away from my family. And yeah, I think this kind of summarizes my whole experience with Indonesia, that it always feels like home for me. But you earlier asked as well about how my education affected my entrepreneurship. Honestly speaking, I never really could imagine myself becoming an entrepreneur. I never thought that I have this entrepreneur skills or something like that. And I was working in corporate before, and until I was fired from the corporate job, because my boss said, you know, Tanya, I feel you really want the freedom, you really want to like spend your time with your family, you are, you are not overworking, not working extra hours, you know, I don't see you put the extra miles, so how about you just become a housewife? And then I was fired. And then that's where I started to find and to look for other opportunities. And actually my uncle was really was really affecting my decision to become an entrepreneur, because he's an entrepreneur, but in completely different industry. So he just told me, how about you just try to become an entrepreneur? You don't lose anything, just try. And if it doesn't work out, you can always come back to the corporate. And that's how I started my journey.
Yeah. Life is unpredictable. You were an international relations student. I was an international relations student, and we decided to deep dive into different industry. And why VA? Simple question.
Yeah. So actually, I moved to Singapore in 2016 because I always wanted to live in close to Indonesia, and me and my husband decided to move to Singapore because he's in IT, so Singapore was a good choice in terms of like job opportunities for this field. So we decided it's close to Indonesia, so we would move to Singapore. And then I started my first business back in 2018. It was Singapore Guidebook. It's a platform about Singapore in Bahasa Indonesia, which is still running right now. And basically our business model is that we sell advertisement to different companies like hotels, restaurants, those who want to promote themselves to Indonesian market. So then COVID hit, and I basically got no clients. In just like, in a very short time, all my contracts are gone because there are no tourists, there is lockdown. And at that time, I also gave birth, and my son was like 6 months old. So I had to make money to have an income, and I decided that I will be helping brands to manage their social media. So I started to help medical clinics. Actually, my very first client as a virtual assistant, I got this client in 2019. It's my Singapore Guidebook client who advertised with us. But when we spoke, it seemed like he also needed social media help. So I just told him, how about I help you to manage your social media? And then when COVID hit, I started to help more brands. I didn't even know that this is called a virtual assistant or something like that. I was just doing social media management. I started to work with medical clinics, and then my first client was aesthetic clinic, and she was very happy with my services, so she recommended me to 2 more clients. And that's how I actually became a fully booked VA. In a very short time, and my income was even higher than before COVID. So it really opened my eyes on this opportunity that I couldn't imagine that I could do something from home while taking care of my child, and also be valuable to people, having my own income. Yeah, and then I went traveling after COVID already. So I was reading an article about how important remote work is right now, that it's booming, a lot of companies need remote staff. And I was like, wow, it means I am actually doing this right now. So how about I just try to teach people to, about how to bring value to clients, how to, close the deals with clients, how to pitch themselves to clients, how to build long-term relationships with clients. So that's how my course started, basically.
Do you know that the unemployment rate in Indonesia is around 4.91%?
Yes, I've heard about it, yeah.
And most of them are diplomas and bachelor's degree.
Yeah.
Why do you think this is the big problem in Indonesia, and how do you see it as an opportunity to help them to grow their income?
Yeah, I think it's actually, this problem is, in my opinion, is not only in Indonesia but all around the world. Actually, in my country as well. And I know that even graduates from very prestigious universities sometimes find it very hard to find a job. And I really believe that right now we are so lucky to live in a world where actually your success does not depend so much anymore on your diplomas, degrees, the experience, Yes, from one side, it's no longer the world where you just go to the university, graduate, and then you have the job and you work in this job for the rest of your life. That the world has really changed, and the truth is that even the diploma and degree does not guarantee you the job. And most probably what you will need to do to be successful is to embrace the mindset of constant learning, constant development. And the truth is that even if you don't have like a great degree, but you have the willingness to learn and the ability to learn, to put effort, you actually can become anyone you want. I think this is also the opportunity. Yes, the unemployment is, from one side, it's very negative, right? It's not a good thing. But on the other side, we need to know that there are so many other opportunities, and we are lucky to live in this era of the digital world, right? Where we can actually build our life the way we want, if we are willing to grow. Yeah. So I believe that being a virtual assistant is one of the opportunities that people can grab. Like, there are millions and millions of entrepreneurs who are looking for remote workers, for remote help. And if you are able to learn the way how to bring the value to these entrepreneurs, maybe manage their social media, maybe doing email marketing for them, maybe doing admin tasks like travel planning, responding to emails, managing their schedule, managing their personal things. You bring them value, and there are lots of opportunities for you. And I feel that this, many people ask me, why Indonesia, why you have so many students from Indonesia. I feel that this opportunity really clicks with Indonesia because in Indonesia there are a few things, like unemployment, like you said, but also age, right?
Yeah.
Like a lot of the age sensitivity, where at some point, like in your late 20s, it's already harder to find a job, right? Which is not really happening in other countries. This is specific to Indonesia, I feel. But the beauty of being a VA is that you are not limited to how old you are, who you are, male or female, what's your background, what's your experience, what's your education. As long as you are willing to learn how to bring value to those entrepreneurs from around the world as a VA, then you can, have a great opportunity to work remotely. And for Indonesia, it also makes a lot of sense because with the traffic in Jakarta, for example, and other big cities, people just realize that they spend like so many years of their life in traffic, right? And this can be saved by working remotely. That's why I feel this VA opportunity really clicked with the Indonesian market.
Yeah, you can work anywhere. You can work from Bali, you can work from Aceh. I think one of the reasons why the problem is bigger and bigger, talking about unemployment, is most of the students just relying on their background. Let's say my background is international relations, your background is international relations. So I have to work in international relations focus era. And I think that's the big problem. We don't adjust to the new world. So right now, even though I'm an international relations student, I have to understand how social media works. I have to understand how the podcast works. So we have to adjust, and most people don't want to adjust.
Yes, exactly. I completely agree with you. And I feel that our major in the university does not necessarily determine our future, right?
Yes.
Because what we learn in the university is actually we learn how to learn. Like, we learn how to learn, we learn how to memorize the information, how to analyze the information, how to maybe have the communication skills, project management skills, which is also very useful in the VA world. But you need to use these skills to follow the current trends. The current trends and the current world that we live in, which is completely different from the world where our parents used to live, right? Like, they just graduate, they get a job, and sometimes they just work in this job for 20, 30 years. Yeah, this is already completely different. Yeah.
Could you share about your major challenge when you started this business? Did you start it by you started by your pain point, right? Because you gave birth and then you have to work from home. Is there any challenge?
Yeah, but people ask me like, what is the biggest challenge in being a virtual assistant? I feel for me the biggest challenge was time management, because I used to work from the office, and when I started Singapore Guidebook, I also used to have an office. So my life was very structured. Like I go to the office, I work, and then I come home. This is my family time. But after I started to work remote, I tried to, there was no boundary between my life and my work. And it really became hard, because at some point I realized that I tried to multitask. I tried to, for example, feed my baby or go out with my baby. And then at the same time, I'm trying to like write a caption for my client's Instagram post, or, do something, like chatting with a client. And it really was hard, because I was not really productive while multitasking. I realized that it takes me a lot of time to actually complete the tasks. And also it makes me burn out easily, because everything is blended. Like I used to even work on weekends, on Saturdays, Sundays, just to complete my work. And I feel that it took me some time to adjust. And the greatest tip that I got for this, for time management, is that you need to do deep work. So you need to really focus on one thing at a time. Like multitasking doesn't work. It's not like you try to, for example, when my baby was small, so I decided, okay, he has a 2-hour nap from 12 to 2 p.m., for example. And this time I will really do deep work, meaning I will do write the captions for my clients, post for their Instagram. So, and I was very surprised that if I focus on one task at a time, my work was done very much faster. Before that, I was, doing some work for my client while scrolling Instagram, while responding emails. This doesn't work. So I really became extra smart with my time management, and it became much easier with time, And another thing that I feel that's a challenge as well is consistency, especially when reaching out to clients. I didn't find this challenge. I didn't find this very challenging for me personally, but that's what I heard from people as well. That the biggest results in our lives come from something that we do consistently, like little efforts, but every single day.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, another challenge that people face, that it seems easy, like just spend 15 minutes per day or 30 minutes a day to, contact the clients, to apply to jobs, but you really need to be consistent to do it every day, put it in your calendar. And it always also comes to time management skills. And so I believe that if you have, many people ask me, what is the main skill that I need to have in order to become a VA? And I always say that you need to have the ability to learn, to put the effort, and also be consistent.
Yeah.
To have this consistency.
Everyone wants a big change, but don't appreciate a tiny little change we made every single day.
Yes.
Even the 1% every single day is way, way better. Then you do it 100% today, but tomorrow you give up. And
yeah, exactly. It's like we go to gym for and we exercise 7 hours 1 day a week, or we go every day just for 15 minutes. Of course, it will be really different. Yeah.
And I think the most simple things is people just focus on, I want to get 10 million rupiah per month. But they don't want to improve the skill. They don't want to put a little effort to contact the client.
I feel that like you said, people really want the money. They want their mindset is, even some people who reach out to me on Instagram, like, Tanya, how do I get the clients? How do I get the most money, as much money as possible? And even if they reach out to the potential clients, they also say something like, can you give me the job, or something like that. So I really believe that the first thing, the most crucial thing is that you need to change your mindset from how fast can I become rich and make money to how fast can I actually learn something to give value to the others. I really believe and this is something that took me some time to learn in my business, but it completely changed my life, personal and also business, my business, that you need to focus always on giving value. You know, that as long as you focus on, you come to the client and you focus on how can I provide value to you. Let me analyze your Instagram. Let me give you some ideas. Let me give you some suggestions. When we start to work together, let me, I will go the extra mile to help you grow your business. I will be on your side. Not just, oh, this is another project for me to make money, you know. And the thing is that the clients really feel that. The clients really feel that, and they feel that you are on their side. They feel that you are really, their team member, and they are keen to recommend you to others. So really the key to success is to shift your mindset to how can I give value as many people as possible, you know? Mm-hmm. And I believe that's why on SGBVA course and on my webinars, on my podcast, I always talk about mindset. You know, my course is not only about how to do social media, how to do email marketing, how to do lead generation, how to do admin, but my course is a lot about mindset, because I believe that if you have the tools, you know how to do things, but your mindset is not right, it is very hard to succeed, you know. So I believe that the person who will be suitable to become a VA, it is not related to your age. It is not related to your background, your education. It's related to how keen are you to learn and how keen are you to put the effort to really succeed and to bring the value to the clients. Yeah.
How many members of in SGBVA and how many alumni do you have?
Alumni, we have like 13,000.
13,000?
Yes.
Mostly for Indonesia?
Yeah, like 90% Indonesians, even more, yeah.
Is there any interesting story from the alumni?
Yeah, lots of interesting stories. I got quite a few alumni who became top-rated Upwork professionals from zero. Without any prior experience as a virtual assistant. They just built their presence there and they have a very stable career. As a virtual assistant, I also have quite a lot of success stories from people who got 10 years work gap, 15 years work gap, and now they are working with 10 international clients as a virtual assistant. I got one student who found all her clients on Instagram. So her clients, it's not like she DM'd her clients, but actually the clients came to her, DM'd her, and she is now working with, I think, 5 international clients as a virtual assistant. So I got a story of my student who also was a stay-at-home mom with 2 kids, and then she started to earn, and then she built a house for her family with the earnings that she got from the VA. I have another student, and she always was dreaming to go to Mecca.
Wow.
Yes, so she saved some money from the VA work, and then she finally bought her ticket and just went to Mecca, to Umrah. Yeah.
Interesting story.
So,
how do you see yourself and SGBVA for the next 5 years? Is there any potential new market or something like that?
I would really like, and that's what I'm working on right now, I want to build the ecosystem, the ecosystem for VAs, where I not only teach the VAs, but also we really have the end-to-end support on how they will, on giving them the clients, you know. Something like a VA agency, we are also doing something like that right now, because we have, for our students, we have a private group with job vacancies, and we have quite many entrepreneurs reaching out to us who want us to match them with the VAs from our community. And that's what we do. We have a separate team for this, but we want to scale it. We want to scale it, and maybe in the future we will be like a proper VA agency. So we have the end-to-end support. Yeah, so that's my focus.
So your focus is also SGVVA focus, and your big dreams is to help more people to find their potential, to bigger their income. And what is your bigger dream outside of the work?
Outside of the work? Yeah, I think what's really driving me is like bringing people value. I think that's so satisfying to actually see the impact on the world. And what I honestly just want to continue this in different ways. If possible, I also want to like go to other markets, like also more people could learn about VA. But yeah, I think I just want to continue this trend of bringing people value, because that's something that brings me a lot of satisfaction. But of course, yeah, my another priority is my family. I really want to continue, having time to spend with my family, to grow as a person. I'm also really passionate about self-development, personal development, like you, right? So just, being a better person every day, that's really is very exciting for me. Developing myself, changing my mindset, becoming a better person, and always remembering that I need to only compare myself to myself, not comparing myself to other people, but comparing myself to myself and how am I improving. That's really driving me as well. Yeah.
Tanya, we have 3 questions from our audience in Suara Berkelas. The first question is, why Singaporeans are so rich compared to Indonesian? Because I heard Singapore minimum wage is at least 3,000 Singaporean dollar, and it's huge gap compared to Indonesia. What do you think the contributing factor for that fact?
Yeah, I think maybe for Indonesia, this amount is considered to be high, but actually in Singapore, the cost of life is so expensive that if the minimum wage is 3,500, it's not. You can't do much with it, because like renting an apartment or like food, everything is so expensive. So actually the living cost is so high that we cannot really say that the Singaporeans are rich, And I think it is very similar to Indonesia, that in Indonesia we do have people who have more money, who have less money. In Singapore it is the same, but the numbers are different because the cost of living is completely different. Yeah.
Because most people think like, oh, I want to move to Singapore because I can get a lot of money there, but I don't think about expenses.
Yeah, exactly. Singapore is getting more and more expensive every single year, and in fact, a lot of people leave Singapore because of the cost of life, which is crazy expensive. Yeah.
Okay, second question from Madia. As a bule in Indonesia, any funny story you encounter in Indo?
Yeah, I remember a very funny story because actually in Indonesia, most people, they think that that I don't know Bahasa Indonesia. So as you know, I can understand well, I can read. And so I was, once I was in Batam, I think. Batam Island, yeah. And then I was buying something in the market and I heard that the person, the seller, she was chatting with her friend about me in Bahasa Indonesia. Oh, look at this girl, she's like... and then I told them, guys, I can understand Bahasa Indonesia, so they were laughing. And yeah, so sometimes like people, most of the times they don't understand that I know Bahasa Indonesia. But yeah, honestly, in Indonesia, I feel the culture and everything is so different from my home country. And I really love how Indonesians are so welcoming, so friendly, so talkative. They always smile, and that's what is drawing me to Indonesia. That's not a funny story, but just like an addition. Yeah.
So how long have you been learning bahasa though?
I started to learn Bahasa in 2011 in my university, and then I graduated 2015, and then I was living in Indonesia for a while.
Yeah.
So, and since then, since my very first business, Singapore Guidebook, I was working with Indonesian people. So I'm very lucky that, that my life is always bringing me close to Indonesia. Yes.
You understand bahasa, but you don't speak bahasa.
Yes, yes. I don't really know Bahasa Gaul.
Okay.
Yeah, but I try to, only some words. Yeah, but I have subscribed to an app to learn Bahasa Indonesia. So I really want to improve my speaking skills.
Okay.
Yeah, and my vocabulary.
5 words or 1 sentence in bahasa.
Okay. Saya cinta Indonesia.
It's very simple, come on. It's very basic.
Saya suka makan soto ayam, tempe goreng, nasi goreng, dan sop buntut.
Dan sop buntutnya. Ketoprak nggak suka?
Nggak.
But you know ketoprak, eh?
Ketoprak, is it like rice cake with the peanut sauce?
Oh yeah.
Is this one?
Yeah, with the noodles. It's very.
What's your favorite?
Oh, ketoprak.
Ketoprak. Oh, really?
And gado-gado.
Gado-gado. Nice.
Have you tried
Gado-gado? Yeah, of course. I tried.
Okay. So, the third question from Ismail 236. Hai Tanya, I'm in Gen Z. My company expect me can do multiple things at once. What do you think the correct framework to face this expectation?
I think we need more details about like what they expect you to do, but I think especially if you work in startups, in smaller companies, the job scope can usually be very wide. Like you are expected to do this and social media and also do admin and also do that and this. So I think the thing and the advice to solve this is probably the communication, like communicating with your manager about what you can and can't do, and what is exactly their expectation. So if you feel that you are very burned out, you have to work overtime, or you are doing something that you don't enjoy doing, for example, like me, when I was working in corporate, my boss gave me a lot of the admin tasks, but I am more of a creative person. So I really regret that I was not honest enough, or I was afraid to talk to my boss and say, sorry, this is not something I enjoy. I would be so much more productive and I would be so much more valuable for your company if you actually give me the tasks which I really enjoy doing. So I think that there is nothing wrong with doing different tasks as long as you enjoy them and as long as you are not burnt out to do them. If you are, then I guess that the best way is to just honestly speak with your manager and find the best solution.
Yeah. I think one of the big problem is in bahasa we call nggak enakan.
Oh yeah.
When
right.
your boss say, oh, you have to do this, but actually it's overwork and they don't pay for our overwork, and you say, yes, boss, yes.
Yeah, I also talk a lot about setting boundaries.
Yes.
Setting healthy boundaries, it doesn't mean that you reject everything or your boss cannot rely on you if there is an emergency, but you also like prioritize yourself as well and politely try to speak. It doesn't mean you need to say like, I don't want to work overtime or pay me for overtime, but it's like look, boss, I really appreciate what I do. I really want to, do everything I can for the success of the company, but sometimes I feel that I overwork a lot. It really affects my health. I want to find a solution. What can we do about this? So I want to be honest, because really working in this company is important for me. So you can find the right words to actually frame it in a way that shows that you are very serious about working and being loyal and productive for this company, which may even help your manager or boss to appreciate you even more and trust you even more.
Yeah, the key is communication. We have to communicate how we feel.
Exactly.
And
that's also relevant to remote work. When we work with clients, I always tell my students, guys, don't be afraid to talk with your client. If there is some task that you didn't understand, or maybe you are sick today and you can't work, just tell your client, because your client, your boss, they are just normal people who understand what you feel and what you encounter.
Very wise. Let's go to, I have one more question from our followers. I think very interesting, from Anissa. Hello, Tanya. My name is Anissa. If I want to try to learn virtual assistants as someone who in the older age, like in the late 40s, is there any possibility to join SGBVA? Late 40s.
Late 40s, okay. Yeah, actually, even on my YouTube channel, we have a podcast from my alumni who share about, they are all 50 plus, and they share about their success story as a remote worker in their 50 plus. So actually, there is no limitation in terms of the age, because the beauty of being a virtual assistant is that you do not need to have a specific age to become a VA. But of course, if you are in your late 40s, late 50s, you might need to put a bit more effort, because it's connected with the digital world, right? You need to be digitally savvy. You need to be able to work with like different easy applications, Instagram, social media. So you might need a bit more effort to do that, but it will be very rewarding, because you will be following the current trends in the world, right? And even in my team, I had people in my team who are in their 40s, in their late 40s, and it is definitely possible if you are willing to learn.
Yeah, the key is to willing to learn, even though you are 40s, 50s, and I think the big problem that people facing right now, if they think like 30s is too old, even in Indonesia, even in the late 20s, people think, oh, I can get a job. I'm 29.
Yes, exactly.
I think I feel embarrassed if I like looking for a new job. Even on LinkedIn, most people like fake it their age.
Yes, exactly. Also, it's actually very young, but it's in Indonesia, it's considered old, right?
Yeah. All right.
Right.
So, you mentor more than 13,000 people in SGBVA, right? I think most of them are now getting a job, or they can start a new business. And then if people who watch this podcast want to join SGBVA, how they can join this?
I think the easiest what you guys can do if you are interested to learn about how to work remotely, who is a virtual assistant, and whether you want to understand whether this is really suitable for you. I think the best first step is just to attend my free webinar. This is again completely free. Free, yeah. So no need to pay anything. You can. It's like a 1 hour webinar where I explain all the details about who is a virtual assistant, how much you can earn as a virtual assistant, what you can do about how to become a successful virtual assistant, so you understand whether this is suitable for you. So this is the first step. We also actually have a free quiz where people can, it just takes maybe 3 minutes to take this quiz, and it will tell you what kind of services you can provide if you work remotely, based on your personality. So we can drop the link in the description, so people can attend the webinar or the quiz. It's both free. So this is, I think, the first step, if you are considering. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they're afraid, oh, I have to pay first, but no, you can access free.
Yes,
And then
exactly.
after that, you can decide if you can enjoy
Yeah.
it or not. Yeah.
It will be already a great first step. Yeah.
Last question from me, and I asked this for everyone. Best advice for people in their 20s?
I think best advice is don't be afraid to go outside of your comfort zone because actually a lot of people are stuck in something that is very familiar to them because they have so many fears. What someone will think about me? What if I fail? What if I make a mistake? What if I don't succeed? So actually, don't be afraid to go outside of your comfort zone. It's your time to try new things. It's your time to unlock your potential and really understand what you enjoy doing. You know, what you enjoy doing and what you are comfortable doing and how you can bring value to people with your own unique skills. Because no matter who you are, stay-at-home mom, or maybe you don't have work experience or something like that, all of us have our unique skills which we can leverage in our life. And please also don't overthink. I feel that this is really one of the biggest enemy. Like again, when people want to become a remote worker, they overthink, oh, what if I don't manage my clients' expectations? What if I fail? What if? And there are so many what ifs that they actually don't take any step, you know? So I just want you to take this first step. So if you watch this podcast, if it rings a bell and if you feel like, oh, I am interested in remote work, I want to explore it for me, just take the first step, just a free webinar. You don't have to pay anything, just attend and put this 1 hour time to see what it is about, you know. So be open to the opportunities and don't be afraid to make mistakes. So because this is really the best age to explore. Yeah.
My team just mentioned, if I want to join SGBVA, should I speak English properly or?
Yeah, so basically, I always tell my students and my audience in the webinar, if you understand what I say, it means that you at least have basic English. So actually, basic English in most cases is enough to even work with international clients, to do some jobs which do not need you to speak, like admin jobs, social media jobs. It all can be done even if your English is basic. So of course, English skill is always good to have, but you can start with just the basic English.
Wow, interesting. Thank you for your time.
Thank you,
I really appreciate tanya. Thank you semuanya. Sampai jumpa.
Sampai jumpa.